Hello there, and thank you for watching this video. I am Sophia, very passionate and curious about the business world. I hope to own a production farm very soon, hopefully. And this channel is a way to express myself and the lessons I'm picking, even from my own kids and my business experiences. And thank you for visiting. Hope you enjoy the video. Let us look at size and location of a farm. What do we mean by a farm? A farm is an individual enterprise or business unit under one ownership control. That is, a business unit carrying the production of a good or service, such as production of soap or legal farm. And in other words, it's a business organization that seeks to make a profit through the sale of goods and services. And therefore, the term firm is synonymous with business or company. Again, a firm is a single business unit or enterprise under one ownership, management, or control. What's the difference between a firm and an industry? An industry, consists of all those firms producing the same type of product in the same line of production. It is therefore a group of companies that are related based on their primary business activities. Therefore, an industry refers to a group of firms producing the same product for a given market. Example is a milk industry where there are a number of milk companies but producing for the milk industry. And in some cases, there is only one single farm and it still makes the industry. For example, in some companies, we're talking of the power companies, that you'll find it's only one company that consists of the industry, or that makes up that industry of the power sector. So what are the differences between a farm and an industry? Again, a farm is an individual production unit, whereas an industry is a group of farms. A farm may produce any commodity. It may have more than one commodity, whereas an industry is a group of farms that produces same commodity. Let us look at some of the factors that influence businesses to make decisions on what to produce. And the first one is profitability. Why? Because businesses tend to provide goods and services that would yield maximum profit. Therefore, profitability is a measure of a business's profit relative to its expenses. So in other words, it is an organization's ability to generate income by using resources that it has available, such as people, time, and equipment. We can conclude that profitability is therefore the primary goal of all companies. Another factor is the cost of production. And here we're referring to all the expenses incurred in the process of creating and delivering a product or service. And these expenses can include raw materials, labor, equipment, rent, and marketing costs. So in simple terms, it is the sum of all the expenses necessary to produce and sell a product or service. And a farm will produce commodities for which production costs are low. Another factor is the demand in the market. And demand is simply the quantity of goods or service that consumers are willing and able to buy at a given price in a given time period. People demand goods and services in an economy to satisfy their wants, such as food, health, clothing, and entertainment. And a farm will produce commodities that have the highest demand, since demand leads to high sales volume. Another one is the availability of resources. A farm can only produce commodities for which the necessary resources are available. And such resources include raw materials, labor, equipment, adequate space, and appropriate technology. And therefore, availability of resources ensures regular supply of materials and labor to keep the production processes running smoothly and uninterruptedly. The other factor is the level of competition. And in here it is a measure of how competitive a market is and is determined by the number of firms that are competing for customers, also the quality and quantity of their offerings, and the ease with which consumers can switch between them. So in order to survive in a competitive market, firms must come up with products that consumers prefer, and a firm may therefore develop products that are not currently available or copy rivals' ideas and improve them. Then we have the government policies, and a firm should produce goods which are favored by the government, or they are favored by the government policies, for example, low taxation and subsidies. Firms should not produce goods also that are illegal, as it will be breaking the law. How do we determine the size of a firm? One, we determine the size of a firm by the level of output or volume of the output, where a large firm will produce on large scale and a small one will produce on small scale, or the number of employees, where a small one will have few while a large firm might have many employees. We may also determine it by the coverage of their premises, whereby a farm with large floor area covered by premises may be said to be large. It could also be through the size of the market controlled by the firm, because we know that large firms control large proportions of the total market of a particular product, and the small ones may only control small size of the market. It could also be determined by the capital invested. The larger the capital of the firm in terms of assets, the larger the firm, and the vice versa. Also, it could be determined by the methods of production that have been adopted by the firm, and whereby a large firm will most often adopt capital intensive methods of technology, where operations will be highly mechanized, and the small ones, on the other hand, will use more labor than machinery. We could also determine the size of a firm by the sales volume, where small firms have low levels of sales with a given period, while large ones have huge level of sales. Let us look at some of the decisions that management makes when establishing a firm. And one of them is the location of the firm. And by location here, we mean the site or place from which the business operates, or where the firm will be established. We know that management has to make appropriate decisions concerning the location of a firm, since a good location will lead to its success, and a bad one would lead to a failure of the business enterprise. And therefore, there are some of factors that influence the location of a firm to the management, and one of them is the raw materials. Availability of raw materials is very important when making a decision on the location, and you will find some farms should be located near the source of raw materials when the raw materials are heavy and bulky, and this is to avoid high transport costs to the farm, or when the raw materials are highly perishable, and this is to ensure they get to the farm fresh. And the third one is if there is competition for the raw materials. If the competition is high, then the farm should be located near the source so as to ensure that it gets all the raw materials it requires at all times. And there are also other advantages of locating a farm near the source of raw materials. And one of them is that transport costs, as we have seen, will be minimized, and also the storage cost of the raw materials will also be minimized. And the farm will be, it will be easier for the farm to select the quantity of raw materials required, as well as it will be easier to get fresh materials and undamaged materials. And being also located near the source of raw material can ensure that the production process can run uninterruptedly because of constant supply of raw materials. Thus, there is continuous production. Now, another factor is labor, and here we mean the human resources. And we know labor is a basic factor of production. It can be skilled, unskilled, or semi-skilled labor. It is important for farms to be located in an area where there is large supply of labor so as to ensure there is adequate supply of this important factor. Location of the farm near the source of labor also reduces the cost of transport, and especially to the factories or production lines, and it also reduces time wasting in transporting this labor from a farm. Another factor to consider in locating a farm would be the market. And there are some reasons why a farm should be located near its market. One, if its finished product is perishable, then the farm should be located near the market so as to ensure that it gets to the market in fresh state. Also, if the finished product is bulky, the farm should be located near the market so as to avoid high cost of transport to the market. Another factor is the fragility. If the finished product is fragile, the farm should be located near the market so as to avoid losses that may result from breakages as the product is being transported to the market. Then we also have companies that are in high competitive environment. So if there is high competition, and especially high material competition, then the farm should be located near the market so that it is easier to get to the customers fast. And where there is a product is made of per customer specifications, then the farm should be located near the customers. Okay, then another factor that a farm should look into when it comes to making a decision on location of the farm is transport and communication. A farm should be located in an area that is well served by means of transport, and this ensures that both raw materials and finished products can be transported with ease. And also a farm should be located in an area that is also well served by means of communication. And this ensures that the farm is able to communicate with its customers and suppliers and vice versa. Therefore, when a company is located in a poorly developed area, this is likely to lead to high costs, high transport costs, especially where raw materials or the finished products are bulky, as you've seen. Also, it will also cause delays in receiving information, especially where communication network is poor. Businesses, people will not be able to give or get information in time. And also, there'll be transportation delays, especially in receiving the raw materials and distributing the finished product. Another factor to consider is the availability of power, as industries require electric power to operate, and they therefore should be located where electricity is readily available. Also, the issue of security, where industries should be located in areas with adequate security. There are farms that should be located, or most of the farms should be located, where there are auxiliary services such as insurance, banking, and warehousing. And also the issue of water, where there are industries or companies need water, either in one or more of their processes. And therefore, these farms should be located in areas where water is readily available. And then the issue of government. The government may formulate policies that may have implications on the location of the farm, especially with regards to physical planning. And such planning may be aimed at checking rural-urban migration or the issue of environmental degradation. And government therefore may encourage the development of farms in some areas by offering concessions to the entrepreneurs, and this may be by offering free land or reduction on taxes, or offering subsidies or improvement of infrastructure. The government may also influence the location by offering direct financial assistance. Well, this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and kindly help me grow by letting me know what you think about the video you've just watched. And yours truly, Sophia.